Hello, Ride of Your Life Ministries. This is Donnie with this week's episode of the Ride of Your Life podcast. And with me, I have two folks in the virtual studio. First off, Mr. Ryan Subler is back from an interesting trip to Texas, which we will get into later. And also, we have a very special guest. You may know him as That Coaster Nerd, but we know him as Justin. How you doing, Justin?
Dude, I am fantastic. I'm so excited to be here. I'm ready. I'm excited. Let's do this thing. Let's just do it. Let's get into it.
Yeah,
we got a lot of tea.
We got a lot of tea
from our trip, and
we got a lot of good stuff. The good,
stuff. Bad, and the ugly. We're gonna go through all of it.
You can say that
Stay
again.
tuned. This is gonna be a lot of laughter. This is gonna be a lot of shame,
Tears.
misery, every emotion in the book. We went through it this week.
Oh man, I could not have said it better myself.
So, I mean, obviously, this is going to be just... We'll give Justin a little brief introduction. We'll have him record his own testimony and give his full story. But, I mean, just on my behalf, a little about Justin. He's a Christian brother of ours. He is a ride operator down at Carowinds. He's a roller coaster enthusiast. And something we connect on is we're both photographers. He is just getting into it a little bit more, and
I don't know if I'm quite there yet. You know.
Yeah, I mean, you're doing good for your experience, and he just invested a couple months ago into the camera I used to use, so it's pretty cool. Not only being able to shadow him in general photography, but he also used the camera I used to use, so I can help him even more. So that was great and a lot of fun this week.
Yeah, we got to take pictures of some ducks.
Yeah.
Nice.
Oh yeah.
We'll get into that.
Who cares? Who cares about roller coasters?
We're just going to go in chronological order here. We're going to take you throughout our whole trip, and it's going to be a lot of fun. And I think we should start with our flights. My flight was from Cincinnati to Dallas. Obviously, you gain an hour. You lose an hour. No, you gain an hour.
You gained an hour.
There's an hour there
an hour
somewhere.
going southwest. And
No, we flew on American, not Southwest.
No, but I was going Southwest. I at least know my directions.
He's got some jet lag there, bud.
Anyway, going Southwest, you gain an hour, so it takes a little bit longer. But hey, it was great when we landed. But here's the thing. I hit turbulence the entire flight. And your boy had to go to the bathroom very shortly after he got on the plane because he was rushing to make his flight. He was on no sleep, and it was just a really interesting time.
I'm so sorry. My flight, I had a bit of a different experience because I was just watching The Office the entire time, so I really didn't have... I don't even know if we had any turbulence or anything. And we both flew into DFW because... Fun fact, my dad works for the airline, and we got some pretty snazzy standby tickets, and we didn't even know if we were going to make the flight, but we did. We both made our flights. We both made it to Dallas. And, yeah, that was good. It's good. We met. That's so wild. The fact that we, met, of all places, we didn't meet in Cincinnati, we didn't meet in Charlotte, we met in Dallas, which is just wild to me.
And it worked. And to make it more interesting... My flight landed dang near 2 hours before his, because his flight got diverted too for weather.
Yeah, that storm system, which comes back later. It's foreshadowing, but that storm system that was going across the entire South kind of put a damper on the flight, and it did not stop there.
I was just sitting there pacing around in the airport, and the way DFW is set up. Baggage claim is outside of the TSA checked areas. So all the bougie fun stuff is inside. So once I got my bags, I was stuck outside in the boring part. And where I was at least, it felt like a rundown bus stop. And I was if y'all know SpongeBob, DFW. If you know SpongeBob, I felt like I was at rock bottom for 2 hours. And it was just I was like, Justin, come on, man. Come on,
I'm
man.
so sorry. Listen, I can't. I don't
And
control the weather.
He's like, go. He's like, I don't understand your accent. We're so mature. Anyway, so Justin's like, all right. He finally lands, and I'm like, don't you want to wait up and meet me? He's like, no, dude, go get the car.
Yeah, our car rental was at 10 a.m. My plane didn't land until like 10:15 because of the diversion, and our car rental was at 10, and they do not give grace periods. If you know rental car companies, they do not give grace period at all. So I was like, Ryan, as soon as I landed, I texted Ryan. I'm like, Ryan, go get the car right now. We are going to get a late penalty. We are going to end up dropping like $1,000 on this car. We do not need to do that. Go get the car.
So I hopped on the shuttle, and, you know, I knew DFW was a good-sized airport. I did not know it was that big. Keep in mind, I do not fly near as frequently as Justin. So I catch this shuttle. It comes every 10, 15 minutes. And, you know, I thought it was going to be a short 2-minute drive. No, it's like a 10-minute drive all the way over to the rental agency.
Yeah, there's 5 terminals at DFW, and then the rental car agency's like south of all the terminals.
I get out.
It's wild.
I get the car. And then Justin, like, he was going to make the next bus. And he did. And he made it over. He called me. I gave him directions on where to find me. And I knew we were off to a hot start right away. Because your boy Justin here forgot his luggage on the shuttle bus.
Okay, listen. There was a lot going through my head.
You really wanted to see me. That's what it was.
Yeah, that's exactly it. I was just so excited to see Ryan that I was just like, I had to get off the bus as fast as possible. I sprinted. It was like a movie, man. He was standing right there, and I was standing right there, and it was like slow motion, just running into each other's arms. You know, no, it actually wasn't. Actually, he was very uneventful. He was just
embrace.
He was just sitting in the driver's seat of the car, and I go to open the trunk. I didn't even say hi to him. I go to open the trunk and put my stuff in, and then I just knock on his window, and he rolls down the window. I'm like, hey, Ryan, I left my luggage on the shuttle. So that was fun.
My first thought was, get in, loser. We're going to Kima Boardwalk. And then he's like, so I am a loser because I forgot my stuff on the bus. Hey. And I'm like, go call someone quick. Thankfully,
Thankfully, they actually, so I went over to a bus, and they were like, go see the manager upstairs in the rental car center, and I was like, okay, cool. I went up there, my luggage was there, they had it, I just took it, grabbed it, went, we were good to go. It took me 5 minutes, we were fine. And then, where did we go next, Ryan? Where did we go next? This is probably the highlight of our trip for the first 3 days of the trip.
We drove a whole 4 minutes, and, which, by the way, even the first 4 minutes, I got a quick taste that Texas roads are very different.
Ooh, just a little bit.
I mean, they do drive on the right side of the road, but it was still very different. You and that sound Donnie.
Ha 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 ha.
Anyway, it was very different. And the first place we went to was Whataburger.
Whataburger.
We kept doing that the whole trip. And anyway, we
go in there.
It's
the Chick-fil-A of burgers for sure.
Yeah, and spoiler alert, it definitely was my favorite food that I did try that was new for me down there. I mean, that at least chain-wise.
That's heresy. In-N-Out has Bible verses on their packaging, though. How could you say that?
Amen.
I do like In-N-Out as a company, but it just wasn't as good. But Whataburger, I go
and
with
that was Ryan's time here on Ride of Your Life Ministries.
and kicked off the team.
Okay,
anyway.
He had Texas In-N-Out, not California In-N-Out, though. Let's be serious here. Okay, let's be honest.
But
there's definitely a difference.
I've heard even the ones in Vegas are good.
I don't know.
But anyway,
Whataburger was great. Oh, we didn't even talk about. We were driving this dinky little 2023 Kia. Okay, thank you. We were driving this dinky little 2023 Kia Soul, which at first we were like, why are we driving this? And then by the end of the trip, we're like, why are we getting rid of this car? Because it was actually, I didn't drive it at all because I'm underage and I don't break the law. But Brian did all the driving, and he kept talking about, can I just trade in my car for this one?
I drive a 2017 Ford Fusion, and, my speakers are a little better, my screen's a little bigger. But everything else in the car, it had lane lock, it had all these bells and whistles that I loved. And, like, for a 12-gallon tank, we were getting about 400 miles a tank, which is insane.
Great.
And the car is very small, but in a weird way, it feels spacious.
Yeah.
Like, and it was easy to park that thing because it was so tiny. Like, it's almost like the closest thing to a smart car I'd be willing to drive. Yeah. But anyway, we drive this thing over to Whataburger.
Whataburger. We had Whataburger.
I dropped $10. I got, like, a plain double burger because I'm such a picky eater. Y'all know this. They have some really good sized burgers, though.
My first like real big interaction since like okay, keep in mind I haven't seen Ryan since 2018, and then I see him.
We've seen each other at Waffle House in 2021.
That's true. I forgot about that. Oh my gosh, you're blowing my mind right now. I honestly forgot that even happened.
We see each other like an hour.
Yeah, but no. So we get to Whataburger and Ryan. No shame to him, but. So he has to eat his food in a very specific way because he had his fries first, and then he picked up his burger, but he's like lipping the burger out of the bun and eating the burger first.
What in the world?
Yeah, and then he leaves the bun, but he eats the burger out of the bun.
Psycho.
And then he eats the bun, which maybe that's why you didn't like In-N-Out because you have to have the full experience.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe.
I don't know. Okay. But Whataburger, we're spending way too much time talking about Whataburger. Don't skip out on the spicy ketchup, though. Ryan skipped out. He missed out. The spicy ketchup is bomb.
Hello, but I got a double burger. It was really good. Good-sized burgers, too. Great meat, juicy, great food. Fries were pretty solid, and I got a large sweet tea. My first ever Texas sweet tea, and it was sweet. I loved it. It was sweet nectar.
Thank Leah for that one.
Yeah, Leah got me. Leah's my girlfriend. She got me hooked on sweet tea. And what's so funny...
Give a sound effect for that, Donnie?
What's that?
You got a sound effect for that one?
Oh. I just got this soundboard for the virtual studio, so I'm just now playing all these. Let's see.
But anyway, they have... The Whataburger we went to, they just had this, like, their ice machine was down. So they had this random tub of ice, and everyone's just sharing this scooper, the same exact scooper to get the ice out. It was hilarious. Anyway,
good time.
Oh man, Whataburger. So anyway, after Whataburger, we
called Kima actually first. Yeah. We called Kima. So we knew the weather was going to be iffy. Like before the trip, we actually talked about like rescheduling the trip before we went. But we're like, okay, now let's just wing it. Let's do this thing. Let's whatever happens.
And not to mention, like we had the rental in place, we had all the hotels in place, and it would have been a pain to pay charges. So we called Kima, and they're like, "Yeah, Boardwalk Willet's open right now, and the only reason it would shut down is for weather." And if you guys don't know, the drive to Dallas to Kima is about 5 hours with stops, maybe more.
Like
so we take a whole drive down there, which is a fun drive. We went to like 2 or 3 different Buc-ee's on the way down there.
First time at Buc-ee's for me. It's overrated.
It is, but it's like.
I still got a shirt though.
I do think it's overrated, but it still feels like an obligation. Like
it really does.
Still feel obligated to stop.
It really does. Yeah.
At least you know Buc-ee's is safe. You're never gonna have to wait in line for a toilet there because they got the biggest restrooms I've ever seen.
Those restrooms are nice, bro. They're clean.
They're huge.
They're huge.
Like you see outside how many gas pumps they have. They have just as many urinals inside. It's insane.
Dang, Gina.
I think they have like 45 urinals for a bathroom. Anyway, though, we go down. We stop at a few Buc-ee's. Fast forward. I mean, we're listening to a bunch of cool music. We listened to like Owl City's new album, which is great. We dabbled into the new Fall Out Boy album that night. And Justin played this weird freaking, it was some country gospel, but like not
Cowboys for Jesus. Yeah.
There was
this
so
was an
much
album that my dad
yodeling.
used to listen to.
So much yodeling.
A lot of yodeling. It was a lot of yodeling.
I'm like, dude, I'm about to fall asleep. Keep in mind, I'm on no sleep. So what we have to do is keep on to have to blast the air conditioning for me. On and off this whole trip.
I keep like being like, okay, dude, if I really need to drive, like, I know I'm not on the rental agreement, I know I'm breaking the law, but if you really need me to drive, like, and Ryan persisted, man. This is a man that does not give up because he was on like, what, at this point, probably like 35 hours of no sleep. Yeah, let's give a round of applause for Ryan. He's probably on like 30 hours. He's probably on like 30 hours of no sleep. and we're driving to like 4.5 hours to Kima, and it's like, so it was like the weather was decent the whole way down there. I don't think it rained really on the way down there until we got really close to Houston.
Yeah.
And before we got to Kima, dude, the oil pumps and stuff in all the oil factories was first of all, you could smell the burning oil in the air, which not a huge fan of. But it was ridiculous. They went on for miles, all of these oil refineries and stuff. It was so wild to see that, and now I kind of get where these climate change activists are coming from.
Yeah, it was.
Now that I've seen it in person, like it is wild.
Houston is probably the smelliest city I've ever been to.
It's a mixture of salt water. It's a mixture of salt water and burning fossil fuels.
Yeah, and
not pleasant.
And now I can see why Astroworld didn't make it. It smells like butt cheeks every time you go to an amusement park.
That's it. It was just that. It was the smell. That's Astroworld.
Sea salt and butt cheeks. Like, that's your smells.
So we did pass Six Flags Hurricane Harbor on the way down there, which was really, really interesting, because we didn't even know there was a...
We did learn from a guy at Fiesta Texas, who we'll touch on later, that it was also ran by Jeffrey Siebert.
Love that guy. Best park president in Six Flags history. Jeffrey Siebert is amazing. If you don't know him, you should. Fiesta Texas park president. He is incredible. So, we get to Kima, and it's sprinkling.
On and off. Well, okay, it's like on and off downpours, but it was sprinkling at the moment.
Yeah.
And the ride's just sitting there. And we're like,
Boardwalk Bullet. It's gorgeous.
That's not to mention, like,
piece of wood.
Let's backtrack a bit. Like, beforehand, like, usually when you get to a coastal area, whether it be a bay or like a beach, you see your Ron Johns, you see all your resort hotels, you see all your nice attractions. Kima? No, not at all. Like, it honestly looks like a sketchy bridge, and then to your left there's just this random, it's not even a boardwalk, it's a pier. There's a pier. And it just happens to have Boardwalk Bullet in all of its glory, outshining this giant turd field of an ocean area. I think the water was a little bit high from all the rain, too, so that was also slightly sketchy. And, like, there was a bunch of standing water on the pier, too. Like, if I wasn't paying attention, I would have got my feet soaked. It was really sketchy, and the funniest thing is we pull up, and we're like, Justin... There's no one in the station. There's no one here. There's no one at the ticket booths. At least the ones we were looking at first.
The Star Tower, the Sky Tower is not running. Nothing is running. There's a carousel.
There's this one little carousel that we're in. That's it.
And then all of the other employees that were like supervisors and maintenance and stuff, they were just like standing out in the middle of the park, like doing literally nothing with their lives. And
we
get there. Keep in mind that on the way there, we actually called like another like 3 or 4 times just to like, first of all, see what the parking situation was, because it's not very clear on their website. And then also we had to we were going to make sure the Boardwalk Bullet was still going to be open. Nobody answered at all. We called like 3 or 4 times, nobody answered. That's why we called that many times. So we're like, okay, well, we're going to wing it, pun intended, because we got wings later that night.
Yeah.
But we get there and there's all these supervisors hanging around, and so we're walking around a little bit, just kind of like checking things out. And then finally we're like, we see it's closed. There's actually a sign on the ride that says closed for the night. That was the first thing we saw when we got there, and that is the definition of pure depression. We had flown about 3 hours and then driven about 4.5 hours for this ride to see closed for the night.
And that was like a top 3 on my bucket list for the trip. So that was already a hot start. But we go around and we're like, I'm like debating with Justin, like, do we talk to someone? Like, what do we do? And Justin was like, all right, we're going to talk to one of these maintenance guys or whatever. And we did. And it's like, it's almost as if they, like, started the ride back up solely for us. That's the impression they gave us.
Nice.
And they started it up, and they're like, yeah, they're about to open it for you. That, like, seriously, that was their words.
Yeah.
It's about to open up.
They said watch around. They said it's about to open up. Watch for it to cycle empty. Once it cycles empty, they're getting ready to open it up. So we're like, okay, great. Well, let's go grab some. No, we were gonna go to our car and like grab our camera to see if we could possibly get some pictures, stuff like that.
It started pouring.
And then it started pouring, but they're still cycling. So they cycle the ride empty 3 times. Keep in mind, this is like 45 minutes to an hour before the park is closed. The park is closing at 7. We got there around 6-ish. And they cycle it empty 3 times, and our hopes are like really, really high. Like we see it cycling, we're posting on our Instagram like it's cycling after seeing the ride close sign and everything. We're like so pumped to get on this thing. We're getting ready to go buy our tickets, and then it starts pouring, and they just stop cycling the ride.
No words were exchanged with us the entire time, and there was no one else there. Like it was literally us and like one other family. Everyone that was there was at the Starbucks or that little crab shack. That was it.
Yeah, so we were just kind of pacing, sitting around, wondering, like, okay, is this thing actually going to open? Nobody's even passed by us. If they did pass by us, they didn't take time to talk to us. So we sat down on a bench, and then finally, it's like 6:45, 15 minutes before park closing, and one of the maintenance guys we had talked to earlier comes up to us and just goes, sorry, they tried. And that was that. That was Kima.
That's pitiful.
Yeah, but Justin, like, how's your Starbucks, man? Because you did get a Starbucks drink there.
I did get a venti chocolate cream cold brew, and it was pretty okay. I always love spending $7 on a 12-ounce coffee.
So, yeah, that was a fantastic start to our trip. And it was like, okay, like, I was hoping that if I didn't get to ride the ride, that I'd get to, like, enjoy a beach-type setting or a pier setting. It was literally a butthole ocean. I never thought the ocean could be ugly, but it was literally the butthole of the Gulf of Mexico.
Yeah.
It smelled like poop
Nice.
and sea salt at the same time. It was weird. And, you know, I have a weak sense of smell since I had COVID a couple years ago, and I could still smell, like, the butthole in the air. And... you know, we just took the L, hopped in the car, got some wings, got a real
stopped at
introduction.
Walmart, got us some Pringles and some Coke and some Gatorade, and we were ready to go.
Yeah.
Wow, we're like 30 minutes in, and we're only one day into our trip.
And not to mention, now we just burnt all that time on the clock and gas just to drive another 3.5 hours to San Antonio from Houston. And
not just that,
to
not just
pile
any
on
driving.
top of that, we had one of the craziest thunderstorms I think I've ever experienced in my life. There was lightning strikes around us. Like, Zeus was throwing down lightning bolts all around us. And
360
Justin
degrees.
he was getting anxious, and I was like, dude, it'll be fine.
I used to have panic attacks for during thunderstorms when I was like 9, and I thought I was over it.
No,
I thought I was until that night, because I absolutely had a panic attack. Ryan was driving on 40 hours without any sleep on Texas roads where people are zooming past us at 95 miles an hour when it's pouring down rain, and
pouring rain. And
for the entire 3.5 hour trip. It was dark, it was foggy, there was trucks kicking up water, there was lightning literally 360 degrees all around us. And then every once in a while,
close too. Like, Justin got a really sick video of it.
Yeah. Every once in a while there would be a lightning strike that was probably like a football field away from us, like right in front of us. It was
I'm not kidding.
Insane. And then Ryan started tailgating a semi-truck, and I freaked out.
It was unintentional. He kept slamming on his brakes. I'm like, slow down, slow down, slow down, slow down. Don't slam your brakes.
That video is really funny because I actually got it on video too, and I'm just like, Ryan, you're getting too close, you're getting too close, you're getting too close!
But we prevailed. It was beautiful.
We made it to it was gorgeous.
Another Buc-ee's.
We did.
And then
at 1 a.m. because... oh yeah, I forgot to mention, we did spend like 3 hours just like either in a parking lot at the Walmart or in like whatever. We spent a lot of time, more time than anyone should ever spend in Kima,
we spent
Texas.
more time at Buc-ee's than we did at Kima.
Also true.
So, like, that paints the picture for you. But anyway, 2:30 in the morning. We make it to our hotel in San Antonio. Thank God. We're like, all right, let's have a good day at SeaWorld tomorrow. So that brings us to the next day. We get up.
Day 2.
We're
finally.
30 minutes. We were just getting our shoes on, ready to go.
We really were. We were about to get... wow, we were.
And then
I pull out my phone.
Yeah.
Pull out my phone just to check. I was actually going to check... I forget what I was checking. I think I was just going to check the weather. Like, for the
Well,
weather
actually,
for
the
today.
first thing we did, we checked what their policy was for, like,
Right,
filming.
yeah.
Which you
'cause
can't
we were-
film anymore. Like,
Yeah,
what the
just
heck?
so.
I get a GoPro, and now I can't film at SeaWorld parks? That's the whole reason I got it. But anyway, you tell him, man.
Yeah, so I forget why, but I decided to open up the SeaWorld app.
Good thing you did.
So right at the top of the screen, it usually has like the park hours for the day. And then I open it up and it says SeaWorld hours today closed.
Oh.
And yeah, and so we had planned this trip entirely because SeaWorld was the only park that was going to be open on Thursday, right? So we planned it, okay, SeaWorld Thursday, Fiesta Texas Friday, and then we were going to go up to Frontier City on Saturday and then come back to Over Texas on Sunday. So we were kind of like using Dallas as our hub and kind of like going like vertically up and down, right? So SeaWorld San Antonio was supposed to be Thursday. We knew it was going to be open. It was supposed to be open, I think, 11 to 6 or 11 to 7, 10:30, something like that. And I open up the app and it says park hours today closed. So I'm like, oh crap. Is this a glitch? Is something wrong? So I'm like, okay, let's pull up the website here. And then there's a little warning at the top of the screen. It says, SeaWorld is closed today due to weather. So that was L number 2.
We sat in our hotel room for like 2 hours.
Yeah, it wasn't until like 12:30.
We were like, all right, well, we got to do something.
We posted on our Instagram stories. Well, we posted on our Instagram stories, like, does anybody know anything cool to do in San Antonio? Because we are totally out of luck. We are doing nothing. Like, we haven't gotten any coasters yet. SeaWorld's closed today. We got to find something to do. We're not sitting in the hotel room all day.
Leah even texted me a link of 75 fun things to do in San Antonio.
Yeah.
And we did two things that we had already heard about before, which was...
So we were looking at, like, the aquarium, though. We were looking at, like, go-karting, laser tag, like, I don't know, like, the zoo, yeah. But we ended up going to...
the Alamo and the Riverwalk.
Highly recommend if you're in San Antonio, parks or not, honestly set aside time to go to downtown San Antonio. That is a gorgeous city, probably my favorite city. I do a lot of traveling. I've been to New York City. I live in Charlotte. I go to uptown Charlotte all the time. I've been in a lot of downtown areas. Downtown San Antonio has got to be my favorite, like, urban area that I've been in.
Yeah, same here. It doesn't feel like hustling. Even for a Thursday at noon. Like, it didn't feel like hustling and bustling. And, like, also...
the architecture is...
the storms had quit. And the rain had let up. It was sprinkling at best all day. So, literally, SeaWorld could have stayed open. It just logistically probably didn't make sense.
Yeah.
And it was so sad.
Yeah, so we get downtown, and the first thing we want to do is get some food. And... so we're just kind of aimlessly walking around downtown San Antonio, like, looking for a place to eat. We were going to go to Hard Rock Cafe, but they were closed for a private event. So we were standing out in front of Hard Rock Cafe looking for another place to eat. And San Antonio, and apparently a bunch of other cities, I've never seen them before, but they have these, like, ambassadors that are just walking around the park in, like, polo shirts and, like... they're called, like, Centro or something like that. And he saw us just, like, looking around aimlessly, and he's like, hey, do you guys need help finding something? Or, like, you know, like, it's almost like you're at, like, a grocery store, and, like, an employee sees you clueless and comes up to you, like, do you need help finding... It was the exact same thing. It was so funny. And we're like, yeah, actually, we're looking for a place to eat. And his first suggestion, of course, was Tex-Mex, because it's San Antonio. But Ryan here doesn't like Mexican food.
Ryan, come on, man.
So, burgers was the go-to. And he recommended this place called Buns, which was pretty good. With the Z. Buns.
And what was cool is you go in there. It is a little expensive, but they have really good. Like, this is the highlight food of the trip for me. Like, it was really, really good, and they make the buns fresh. That's why it's called Buns.
Nice.
And they're really fresh cooked burgers, good fries, Sidewinder fries, and obviously sweet tea.
It was decent. I wanted to try something new, something different. Ryan got a plain burger. I did not. That's what I usually get, honestly. I usually get a plain burger with ketchup. But I want to try something new, something different. So I got this, I forget what it was called, but it was a burger, but then it had, like, caramelized onions, which I love caramelized onions. Ooh. But then it also had pears and arugula and blue cheese. I definitely don't like blue cheese, so I didn't get it. But the pears and arugula, it was a weird combination. Wasn't a huge fan. Added some ketchup. Made it a little bit better, because ketchup fixes everything. But yeah, so lunch was interesting. Then after that, we decided to head down to the Riverwalk, which was amazing.
That was the first time Justin ever got to see me in, like, my photography element too. And you would think I was taking pictures of the city or, like, no, I put my 70 to 200 millimeter lens on, and I was taking pictures of ducks and pigeons the entire time. I got, like, 2 pictures of Justin, too, but mostly I was taking pictures of ducks and pigeons. And I had a blast. And the other people are looking at me like a freaking Fruit Loop. Like, this guy is on drugs. What is he doing? He's just taking pictures of birds and getting himself in all awkward positions.
There was that one duck under the bridge that I think he spent a solid, like, probably 20, 25 minutes trying to get shots of it.
There is... Justin
and you were like, he was like hanging over the. So San Antonio, there's literally the Riverwalk is a river that runs through the city, and the Riverwalk is like down below street level. You have to take stairs down to it, and there's like pathways, and there's a bunch of shops along the side and restaurants and stuff. Really, really cool, awesome vibing atmosphere. And so my man was literally like leaning on a brick wall that was right next to the river, almost about to fall into this gross, dirty, scungy San Antonio river, trying to get the perfect shot of this duck. It was quite entertaining on my end for about 5 minutes.
You got a picture
I did.
of it.
I did. On my Instagram story, there was a picture of Ryan in his element.
Well, you got to get the duck shots.
For sure.
I mean,
100%. You can't not get the duck shots.
It was great.
Why else would you go to San Antonio, honestly?
I mean, the Alamo, which we did go to next.
Wow, what a segue.
You forgot about the Alamo.
Yeah.
Come on.
That was great.
Well, no, that was next up. Yeah, the Alamo was really, really cool because, I don't know, I didn't really know about it. And fun fact, they had Six Flags Over Texas in the Alamo.
Oh, yeah, because they had 6 different flags.
They had the 6 different flags. If you don't know, Six Flags Over Texas is named by the 6 flags that flew over Texas, right? So it was, I think in order, it was Spain, France, Mexico, Texas, like as a nation, the Confederate States of America, and the United States of America. So those are the 6 flags over Texas. And it was cool because they had the 6 flags up above it in the Alamo Church, which, if you don't know, again, the church... the church in San Antonio was actually like used as the main military base for the Battle of the Alamo, which is really, really cool.
And only like a 30th of that land that was actually used during the Alamo is left because the rest of it got destroyed.
Yeah, but the church still stands. It's got a new roof and stuff, but it was really, really cool to see, and really, really sombering because that battle was a loss for the Texian army, and a lot of lives were lost, and not just Texians. It was a lot of help from other states in America and everything, and a lot of other countries as well came in to help with that battle, and it was a huge loss. But it was a motivating force that led the Texians to victory over Mexico, which allowed Texas to become its own independent nation, which was really, really cool. It was cool to learn the history behind that. And my favorite part was, Ryan can attest to this, I was mesmerized by the devices that were attached to the walls that were like the moisture monitors, because they're doing a bunch of, I don't know why, I'm a tech guy, right? So, and they had this whole display set up about like the devices that were being used to like measure the moisture of the walls that
loved it.
to keep it from deteriorating.
And then shortly after that, we went back out to a section we thought was cool at the beginning. But right before that, we seen, and we just happened to time this the right time. Guinness had
A duck.
Their believe it or not, place.
Yeah, we saw a
There
duck,
was a separate
actually.
room
That's
they
what
had
we
people
saw.
for free showcasing. And here's what they had: 2 record breakers. One, they had this large model of what the Alamo would have looked like, built out of over 60,000 Legos, on display.
Pretty
And
sick.
next to it, just so happened to be the world's largest printed book. That if you were dumb enough, you could sit there on their iPad there and read the whole thing.
It was like almost 200 pages, but like the actual book was like 16 feet wide and like 10 feet tall, something like that.
I have seen the original Old Glory from, the flag that flew over.
Yeah.
The name, which battle was slipping me.
Battle of 1812.
No,
Maybe?
it's when Francis
No.
Scott Key wrote the national anthem during the Revolutionary War.
Yeah.
And I've seen that
Old
flag,
Betsy.
and this book is bigger than that flag,
Whoa.
if I remember correctly. Like, it's huge.
How big was it?
Big.
No, I think it was like 16 feet wide and like 10 feet tall. Like it was
Whoa.
huge. It was huge.
Wow.
Yeah.
And like each letter was like the size of your hand. Each
You
printed
could
letter.
stick it in a 10-foot
Wow.
deep swimming pool off the ledge, slide down the book, and you'd be safe. That's how big this thing is.
That's such an
crazy.
interesting metaphor. Like, that's such an interesting visual, like, mental image in my head now. I'm just imagining Ryan, like,
Sliding down.
in a bathing suit. Like, just
A bathing
yeah.
suit.
I don't know, just like about to cannonball into a pool, and then there's just a book in the pool.
Then I slide down the pool.
Yeah. So next up, what we're here to talk about, roller coasters. We visit the Alamo, and then we finally get to ride our first roller coaster of the trip. A day later, we were supposed to be at SeaWorld. We finally get to ride our first roller coaster.
I was thinking I was in Texas for 32 hours at this point, and we finally got our first coaster.
Incredible
It is called-
Pizza Company in San Antonio, Texas.
You have to listen. You have to get food in order to do anything in there.
It's a buffet, so the price, there's like an admission price for the buffet, basically.
So first thing we do is we get the credit because it's only open for a short amount of time because everything opens in shifts.
Crazy 8 spinning coaster. My first SBF spinning coaster. Actually, way more fun than I thought it was going to be, and we went around like 8 times, and Ryan got a on-ride
POV.
reaction.
With permission, yes.
Nice.
And then we got the food.
Do we have
Yikes.
to talk about the food?
Yikes. Their incredible pizza was anything but. It was mediocre at best. I would say that was the most edible food. I'm a junk food guy. And they had a junk food buffet. What could go wrong?
Everything,
Well, clearly
Ryan.
the food.
Everything.
The chicken
could go
nuggets
wrong.
were pink. Pink!
Goo.
And I was like,
Yeah.
hello?
Hey, I had a pretty good. The corn was good. It was just the right amount of butter.
The ice cream,
lump with knobs.
they had an ice cream machine. That was the highlight. The dessert was the highlight. And the sweet tea
Oh,
was
yeah.
the highlight. Everything else,
The sweet tea's always the highlight.
yikes. So the pizza was like mid. That's it.
Leah's
That's all I
gonna
can
watch
say.
this podcast back. She's gonna be so proud of you because of how much you talk about sweet tea.
Yes.
We need to go back and count how many times he said sweet tea.
We really do. We need a counter.
The sweet tea counter. But yeah, that was Thursday. Or no, what was it?
That was Thursday.
Thursday.
Yep. Went back to
Yeah.
our hotel actually pretty early that night, which was nice. We got some actual decent rest.
Nice.
And the plan the next day was to actually, because we saw the weather, we knew the weather was still going to be kind of crappy. It was still going to be kind of rainy.
So-
the plan the next day was to do
scratch
SeaWorld.
CDTs. We
Yeah,
scratched
so we-
CDTs.
So we were planning on going to CDTs halfway through the day, but we were like, okay, let's scratch CDTs. Let's do SeaWorld San Antonio in the morning. Let's do a credit run. Go ride what we can there for a couple hours because they open a little bit beforehand, and no one's going to be there. And I bought a $300 SeaWorld season pass, and I'm not letting it go to waste. So plan was to go to SeaWorld and then go to Fiesta Texas for the rest of the day because we didn't expect either parks to be busy. We figured we could get everything done that we wanted to get done at both parks that day. So it starts off actually pretty well. Like the park run, we get to SeaWorld, not very busy, and there were a few rides closed. So Great White was closed for annual maintenance, which we kind of knew ahead of time. Journey to Atlantis was also closed. We didn't know that, but not a huge deal. That coaster is barely even a roller coaster to begin with, and Ryan doesn't like water rides.
I don't hate water rides, but it was so cold.
So we rode their S1E Scream and Swing, and they have it's Tidal Surge, I think is what it was called,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And it's like one of the really big models, and one half of it goes like out over the lake in the middle of the park. That was wild. One of the best flat rides I've ever ridden.
Yeah.
It feels
way
like you're so
better
much
than
higher up
Skyline.
than you are. It is 100%. And then we got to ride
Texas Stingray,
Texas Stingray.
which that's a good
We rode
ride.
that. Yeah, that is a great ride. So much better. Not talked about enough. We rode it in the front and then in the back, both kind of empty trains. Did we ride that 2 or 3 times first time we went?
twice.
I think we rode it twice, yeah.
And then we also
And
rode
then
the little.
that was fun.
The little
Oh yeah, the little frisbee. I think it's a
beforehand.
MIDI Discovery. I think is what it's called.
But
It's like Max Air or Delirium, but much smaller, like
It's-
16 seats.
it's kind of odd because SeaWorld only has like 3 exhibits on display for their animals. Like we seen the flamingos, aka pink chickens. We seen the turtles and like these little
Yeah,
birds.
sea
They had,
turtles.
but that's it. That's it. You don't see anything
Yeah,
else.
I mean, we saw this like the Sea Lion Stadium and the Orca Stadium and everything like that, but we did not see any shows there. We were on a time crunch. We were like, go, 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 let's go.
Yeah.
The entire time we were there up to this point, we did not see Steel Eel operating, which is kind of their premier attraction. So Morgan Hyper, one of the best out there supposedly, comparing to all the other Morgans besides like Phantom's Revenge. It's supposed to be like the best.
I mean,
so
we did miss.
So we didn't see it running, but we were.
Great White.
We missed Great White because it was down for maintenance, but
got
Wavebreaker, we
Wavebreaker.
got Wavebreaker.
Interesting.
Wavebreaker.
I had more fun taking photos of it than riding, but it was a credit.
That's fair.
2 launches, so that was cool.
Yep.
And then we were like, all right, are we gonna wait for Steel Eel? No. So we decided to leave.
It was closed for wind. I don't know if we mentioned that, but we actually asked one of the operators. We knew it was down for weather. We asked if it was lightning or wind. They said it was down for wind. So we're like, okay, we're kind of running short on time here. We were gonna wait it out a little bit, go to the gift shop, stuff like that, see if it was gonna come back up. It did not.
And then we made the dumbest decision of the day. We decided to go to Fiesta, Texas, and when we went, and we were banking on short lines because it was going to be raining, it closed at 2. We got there like 1:35, and we're like, all right, we're just going to get gas and go right back where we came from. So
I would like to add that the fact that you had to say the dumbest decision of the day and not the dumbest decision of the trip is so funny to me, because in any other instance that would have absolutely been the dumbest decision of the trip. But so many dumb things happened.
Yeah. Anyway, we went, got McDonald's, went over to Fiesta, it closed. We're like, all right, let's go back to SeaWorld. So.
And then let's do ZDTs tonight. So ZDTs was back on the
burner
agenda.
Yeah, it was back. So we're like, okay. So SeaWorld was supposed to close at 7. They made no announcement. We get back to the park. And this time we brought our camera bags in. Because we wanted to take photos.
Dumb mistake number 2 of the day.
Well, sort of. We did get good
Not
photos.
necessarily. We got some great photos. I'm really excited
but
for
the thing,
for that.
Oh, this is like, take it as you will, L number 3. We forgot to mention we got a kitty credit. That was our second credit of the trip. The Super Grover's blah 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 coaster.
Super Grover's Boxcar Derby, right? Yeah. Get cultured.
Anyway, but the first 2 credits of our trip was the smallest coasters in Texas, I think. Anyway, we get back in the park, and we get good shots, and Steel Eel starts testing. We're like, holy crap, it's running. And they got people on it. So we were about to ride. We get up into the station. We get to the other side, and literally, they're like, they have these bins, or like, not bins, but they're baskets. Big enough.
They're like wire baskets.
You can fit a cooler in those things. They're huge. You can stick anything in there you want, besides bags. So we get off.
Big enough to fit, one bin was big enough to fit both of our bags in. We put our stuff there, take a seat, start buckling our seatbelts and everything. And yeah, they announce over the intercom, bags have to go in a locker in the Steel Eel lockers by the photo booth. So we go grab our bags, but we noticed on the way up that the lockers were closed. They weren't open. So we tell someone, we're like, hey, the lockers are closed, what do we have to do?
And they said, go to the Wavebreaker lockers. So we go over there. We get a locker.
Well, keep in mind, this park is super spread out. Yeah. Rides are not close to each other. So this is like a 10-minute walk over to Wavebreaker.
Maybe not 10, more like 5.
Okay.
Along
fair.
5, but we walk over there. We get a locker. Justin's bag fits fine. My bag is too big because I got more gear than he does. So guess what? We have to march. We asked the people in the gift shop, like, hey, do you know of anywhere that has big lockers? Like the all-day ones that you can find up at the front of Kings Island and most big parks for bigger bags? He's like, oh yeah, there's some up at the front of the park. Walk all the way up there. This is like a 15-minute walk. Get up there. Nothing. So then we walk out of the park, get another stamp, walk out of the park, and they're like, oh, they got some at guest services. Guess what? Guest services doesn't have them. So we go up to guest services anyway. We explain the situation, like, look, this is super frustrating. What's the deal? And they're like, oh, we'll hold your bags for you. So we give guest services all of our crap. turn around without our cameras, walk all the way back to ride Stelio, which probably jeopardized 45 minutes of time. We ride Stelio, 2 or 3 times?
Yeah.
And then there was more photos we wanted. Like, we wanted to take photos of Texas Stingray. Couldn't do that. And we were like, well, this is annoying. Well, in the process, we learned, hey, guess what? The park closes at 5 now, not 7. From guest services. So we're like, oh, great. I mean, it didn't really ruin our day, per se, but it was annoying. So we go and ride Texas Stingray, get our last ride on that, an unpopular opinion.
We did get Laurent Knott's last ride on that.
I do think that Texas Stingray is better than Stelio.
I agree.
Backseat ride on that. Even front seat was a lot of fun on there. Didn't we say that our second front seat ride was good?
Yeah, Stelio was fun. Some of the airtime moments, especially in the front row,
not
really
to mention,
hit on Stelio.
Yeah, in the front, I like Stelio in the front more, but not to mention Texas Stingray, our last ride of the day, was a Zen ride, which is pretty epic. We got it all to ourselves. So we get done, we go all the way back out to the front of the park, wait in this 15-minute line, and we're like, hey, look, you should put this on your policy, like no bags bigger than this, or you need to come up with a solution for bigger bags. Because that was really annoying. We leave, we head to ZDT's, we get to ZDT's, and what do you know, we have a good time. It was fun, we rode we had the whole ride to ourselves. No one was there. Maybe 6
I think we rode
people.
switch back 7 times. That is a great gravity group.
I
Here in the
rode
San Antonio
5
area,
times,
highly
I
recommend.
I think I rode 5 or 6 times.
We both got pictures. It was so dead that in order to get pictures of the ride, me and Ryan had to swap off, and he would ride so I could get pictures, and I would ride so he could get pictures, because that was the only way they would send trains.
And
so we did.
It was so monotonous. But hey, shout out to ZDTs. The people in there are really, really nice, and they knew we were enthusiasts the moment we pulled up. Yeah. And I was like, hey, could I film? And I showed them my GoPro with the chest strap, and they're like, heck yeah. So I got to film 3 different POVs, and it was great. I had fun. And that was Thursday. We finished it up with an In-N-Out run, and that was subjectively... I mean, I liked it. It was good. I just didn't like it as much as Whataburger.
In-N-Out was Thursday, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was.
Was it Thursday?
Yeah.
It was.
So we got In-N-Out. But this is the adventure of Thursday, too. That night, we were supposed to have our first of 2 nights booked in Dallas. Obviously, we also scratched Frontier City.
Wednesday and Thursday night were supposed to be in San Antonio, because we were going to go to Fiesta, Texas.
No, this is Friday. We're on Friday.
We are on oh my gosh. See, this is how much this trip messed with my head. We are on Friday.
So,
yeah.
Friday night, we obviously scratched, Frontier City, because we want to go to Fiesta, Texas. Which meant one of 2 things. 1, we forfeit the rainy weather, which does work to your advantage with short lines. And 2, it's a Saturday, weekend crowds.
And 3, our hotel was booked in Dallas that night. So originally we were like, okay, we were going to drive up to Frontier City, which is 4 hours from Dallas anyway. So why not just stay in Dallas and then drive back down to San Antonio? Which we're like, okay, wait, no, there's a better way to do this. So I end up calling up the hotel and being like, hey, we're on rewards points right now. And we were wondering, will we be able to cancel the reservation, or not cancel, but modify it, so only stay 1 night in Dallas and then find another hotel to stay in San Antonio. So we ended up staying in 2 different hotels in San Antonio, which was so fun. So we drive to our new hotel in San Antonio, which we booked that day.
This place is bougie and cheaper.
Nice.
It was cheaper. This place is nicer than my studio apartment. Full kitchen, full bathroom, 2 full queens, a couch, a desk, plenty of plugs, outlets. It was great. And I was like, I'm in heaven. Where were we the last 2 nights? We forgot to mention, the last couple nights, our bathroom, when you flush the toilet, it never ended. The toilet was flushing itself the whole time.
The whole
the
night,
light,
you just hear...
even after they fixed it, was going in and out the entire trip. So we literally had to take a shower with our phone lights facing the white ceiling and like the dim.
I don't know. I didn't have any issues with my shower. I stayed light in my shower.
Yeah, mine was dark. Anyway, we get done with all this. And
shout out to Marriott
settled.
Bonvoy Rewards, by the way.
They're really cool
Coming
about
clutch.
that. And we have Saturday, which overall was, with all things considered, a pretty good day. We bring our cameras.
Saturday
into
was
the
a
park.
great day.
Great weather.
Fiesta.
Yeah,
Almost
we
too good.
had no problems getting our cameras in the park. The one security guy was concerned about it. He thought we were under the old policy. He asked his supervisor. We were good. It was cool. He was a really nice guy. Checked out our channels later on. Or Instagrams, whatever. And we had a blast taking photos. We got every major credit we wanted there. And the second half of the day, we got to a real time crunch. It was getting busier. And shout out to our boy Jeremy.
Jeremy!
He gave us
I hope he's listening right now.
I mean, he gave us some awesome. He knew we were enthusiasts, so he's like, "Here, take some flash passes," and literally got us on Dr. D's through the flash pass line when it should have been single rider. He got us through. This is just coincidence. He gave us flash passes specifically so we could at least experience Iron Rattler at least once
Yeah.
in the back seat. And we used
And we saw him at Dr. Diabolical's. They had a single rider line, so we were going to go use a single rider line, which the flash pass attendant is like in charge of, right?
Yeah, and literally we get over to Iron Rattler and guess who's working? It's our boy Jeremy. Literally, he was like, if you come up the single rider line, I'm going to give you flash pass access each ride. So it's like a 45-minute line at best towards the end of the night. And we just kept on re-riding. We got 7 total rides. 2 in the front, 2 in the back, 3 in like the middle. It was wonderful. Like Jeremy made our trip.
What a ride to Iron Rattler, the second RMC. It is smoother than most other RMCs.
It's not like it doesn't
butter.
ragdoll you, but it does give you insane airtime too. It does get a little slow on the quarry.
trains.
Yeah. It gets a little slow in the quarry, but it picks back up once you hit the dive. And I tell you what, most of the time I'm a backseat guy, but Iron Rattler, I'm a 100% front seat guy.
Yeah.
It was awesome.
But that drop in the back row, you cannot deny. The twisted drop off the quarry wall. One of the best drops of any coaster on all time. That was my second time at Fiesta, Texas, and Iron Rattler is the main reason I wanted to go back, and for good reason. That ride is ridiculous. The airtime is fantastic. The restraints are comfortable. I love the Gerstlauer trains. I so wish RMC would have just stuck with Gerstlauer trains instead of making their own in-house trains, personally. The RMC trains are great. They serve their purpose, but the Gerstlauer trains are actually really ergonomic. The shin guards don't dig into your shins the entire ride. They are fantastic. And then the rest of the park. The park is gorgeous. The quarry wall backdrop around the entire park. There's waterfalls. There's trees everywhere, and it is such a pretty park.
Yeah.
And they have a great collection. Superman is the best floorless coaster on Earth. You can't convince me otherwise, except for maybe that one other Superman one in Spain. Dr. Diabolical's. I know Ryan and I had a bit of a different experience on this. I loved it. I thought it was great. I actually got airtime. I wasn't expecting it.
The theming is incredible.
The theming is awesome. It is a Six Flags park. Six Flags knows what they're doing. Speaking of theming, Poltergeist, the theming for that ride is insane. They just redid it. They just repainted it. It is awesome. And they have a really cool dark ride there, too. Yeah, Pirates.
Pirates of the Deep Sea.
Pirates of the Deep Sea. It is Boo Blasters. If you've ever read Boo Blasters at Carowinds, or I think maybe even the one in King's Dominion, I know the King's Island was a little bit different. But it is the exact same layout and the exact same ride system as either of those. But it is actually pulled off well. The targets, all of them work. The guns all work. The point system works. But it's so funny because... So Boo Blasters is one of the rides I operate at Carowinds. And going through this ride, I can tell it's the exact same layout. Like, I can predict all the turns and stuff where we're going, despite it being a dark ride, and you're not supposed to know where you're going. And even some of the effects of the ride are, like, the exact same, just piratified. So, like, I don't know if they have it at Kings Island, but there's like one scene in Boo Blast News at Carowinds where there's like a skeleton couple on a bed and they like pop up.
Yeah.
They have that exact same thing on Pirates of the Deep Sea in the exact same room setup, but they're just wearing pirate hats, which was like really, really cool to me.
Well done, Sally.
And I still beat you.
Okay, listen. I'm not used to the guns working, okay? That's my excuse.
Hashtag
I'm used to Carowinds.
Master Blaster.
Hey, we both got the highest like score level,
Yeah,
so
we did.
So I don't want to hear it. Great dark ride. Do not miss out on it if you go to Fiesta, Texas. It's kind of hidden in the boardwalk. We waited like 20 minutes for it, and would you say I think it was worth it?
It was definitely worth it.
For sure. It was, yeah. And even the queue line theming, like there's like a waterfall and the queue line was like skulls and like you know like the moving pictures at like in Harry Potter at Universal.
Yeah.
They have like that in there too. It was like, I don't know, really, really cool. Great dark ride. Do not miss out on it.
Yeah, overall,
we also rope dropped Pandemonium, which was really, really stupid of us, but it worked in our favor.
No, we managed to rope drop Poltergeist too because it had just reopened.
That's true.
So we got lucky a few times even before Jeremy was in the picture.
Yeah.
Overall, we got all the big credits at least once. We got
Joker.
Yeah.
They have the most elaborately themed giant frisbee ride. You walk through like
that was fun.
the queue line. The queue line is like literally a fun house. Like you go like into this elevator and like the elevator's like
cool.
You like crash in an elevator and then you exit the elevator and it's like you go into like the Joker's fun house and stuff and like there's like moving floors and like lasers and like scare effects and fog and stuff. It's really, really cool. It's almost, I know Ryan said it was almost like a haunt maze.
Yeah, it felt like one at first. It was
really, really cool.
And
Don't
I'm
miss
a
out
huge
on that one
DC
either.
Fan, so I love the Joker. Once again, it's the same Mark Hamill voiceover that's found in the Justice League Battle for Metropolis Dark Rides. So, I love that. Lots of great detail. And I had a blast on that Zamperla Frisbee. Definitely better than
Delirium
and the Huss models.
Yeah. Zamperla has perfected that giant Frisbee model, 100%. Those things are amazing.
Yeah. Probably my new favorite flat ride. That or Tidal Surge.
Both of those, yeah. We rode there's some really great flat rides in Texas. The Scream and Swing, the Giant Discovery, great rides.
Overall, great day at Fiesta, Texas. Again, shout out to Jeremy. He works for that third-party company that, believe it or not, the people that work like the Flash Passes and the queues, they don't work for Six Flags. They work for a third-party company.
Yep.
And
they're
we learned
licensed.
that working there, or not working there,
Yeah.
talking to him. But
talking to Jeremy, yeah.
Justin had a little experience afterwards. He had his first
I did.
ever Raising Cane's.
Oh, I did. Oh, yeah.
Ooh, wow.
Yeah, so Raising Cane's, which this was a surprise to Ryan because obviously they're popping up all over Ohio, but apparently they're actually like based in Baton Rouge, Louisiana, and so they were all over Texas as well, and we kept seeing them, and every time we saw one, Ryan was like, Raising Cane's, Raising Cane's, Raising Cane's. I'm like, I don't get the deal with Raising Cane's. And then we went to Raising Cane's, and now I get the deal with Raising Cane's.
It's amazing, isn't it? You get a lot of food.
It is.
It's
I would
really
say
good.
a caniac, it's with the lemonade, it's $15 in Ohio, it's $17.50 down there, but it was still worth it.
How did you eat all of that food? That was...
Well, first of all, we hadn't ate all day to that point. So, that's one. And two, I love Cane's. Plain and simple. I love it. It's so good.
Understandably so.
I subbed the
really,
coleslaw
really good.
for double toast. They load you up with fries anyway. It's so good. Unpopular opinion, I smother mine with ketchup, but I love it. I love Cane's. And that
I'm usually not a fan.
Lemonade there. I've not had Cane's sweet tea yet. I've only had their lemonade because their lemonade is to die for.
I'm not usually a fan of like specialty sauces on like Zack sauce or Chick-fil-A sauce. Like I'm not a fan of any of that. I tried the Cane sauce. That stuff slaps. It's really good.
It's amazing.
I have been indoctrinated, and I can now call myself a caniac, and there's no going back.
Amen.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, there's none anywhere down here. Amen. Hallelujah. There's none down here, unfortunately, so I have to settle for Zaxby's, which Zaxby's is great. Love Zaxby's. Their fries are better. No offense to Cane's. Zaxby's fries are better. But Cane's tenders, I think they're unbeatable.
Yeah, and literally, after that, it was another long drive. 4 hours
4
to Dallas.
hours to Dallas.
And this is where it gets funny. Uneventful drive until we get 20 minutes away. And I pose this $1 million question to Justin. So the plan is we're going to drop the rental car off at 10 a.m. And I asked Justin, I'm like...
Our rental car was due back at 10 a.m. And then we're doing over Texas after we drop the rental car off.
Yeah,
so we're going to check out of our hotel, drop the rental car off, then go to over Texas.
I asked Justin a $1 million question. I'm like, hey, dude. He's like, yeah? I'm like, where are you going to put the luggage? And his eyes just got so big. And he's like, oh, I didn't think about that. So we're scrambling at 3 a.m. I'm like, keep in mind, I still got to film the Ride of Your Life Easter video. I'm low on sleep. I'm like, dude, I don't know where you are going to put this luggage. So we talked to the guy at the hotel at 2:30 in the morning, and he's like, we'll hold the luggage. So we're like, great. So
we just need to get back here
before the airport, which cut our time at Six Flags even more. So the next morning, we take a lift because our friend Marshall couldn't pick us up.
Well, so yeah, we checked out of the hotel, left our luggage at the front desk, drove to the airport, dropped a rental car off, and then we took a lift from the airport rental car to a parking lot in a sketchy shopping center right in front of Six Flags over Texas.
Nice. And what was funny is we get there, we got our cameras on us because we figure it's going to be the same as Fiesta. I go through, it's like 45 minutes early. We get through security. I have no problem. Justin gets held up. And they're like, we're going to make you sign this alpha data or whatever that you are not going to use your zoom lens. So get this. They don't have a problem with our professional cameras. They just don't want telephoto lenses. And I can only imagine that they are fearful of competition. And I'm like, I'm not going to sell the product. It's in the it's in the terms of use. Like, if you bring a camera in, it's illegal to sell it. Fair. I wasn't going to. And I told them that. And they're like, oh, it's just yada da da da. I'm like, all right, we're in a rush anyway. We're not going to take photos today anyway.
And we ended up not really having any time.
But thankfully, they were gracious enough to understand our situation. They did not make us go back to our hotel and put our camera bags back.
Yeah.
They let us bring them in. Cool. We rode the rides. For me, my favorite ride there was New Texas Giant. It was interesting to do Mr. Freeze going forward. The only ones we really got re-rides on were Mr. Freeze. Didn't we go twice on Batman?
No, we only got one on Batman.
Okay.
Batman the ride there, I don't know what, like, even Marshall
really good.
was saying that, like, it's one of the worst, but
I love it.
I think it might be my favorite Batman clone. They have one at over Fiesta, Texas as well, so we just ridden one. And then we were going to ride one at SeaWorld San Antonio as well. It's like, there are 2 Batman clones in the same park, which is really, or in the same city, which is kind of funny. But we rode... Yeah, so their Batman clone was great. Mr. Freeze was insane. That was my first time on a Mr. Freeze, and so good. I want to do it backwards now. I need to get to St. Louis to do it backwards before they retrofit theirs as well.
I do prefer it backwards, but it's still a lot of fun. So don't sleep on it.
And then we took the train.
Titan too. We rode towards the front.
No, but we took the train. We took the train. Don't forget about the train.
Is Coaster Engineer on Instagram. Go check him out. He's a great photographer, but he loves trains in such a passionate way. And he loves his park, and you can tell that he loves his job. And it's no surprise that he's the youngest and fastest person to get the engineer position there. He ruled it. He had a lot of fun. And, Justin, you're going to get my joke. Wait. Get out. He was just so passionate. He was a lot of fun. He loved making jokes. I mean, he roasted me. He's like, if you guys think I'm funny, my name is Marshall. And if you guys don't think I'm funny, my name is Ryan. He got me good. He is.
Yeah. Coaster_engineer on Instagram. Now his name actually makes sense because he loves roller coasters. He's a train engineer. So yeah, shout out to Marshall. Great guy. I've met him before. Ryan met him before. This is our first time meeting him together at his home park, which is really, really cool. And
We got a few rides in, and he took us to the airport, too. So we love him for that, because we didn't have to take a lift back to the hotel or the airport.
Yep. So, back to the rides, though. So we did Mr. Freeze, and then we took the train. So the train is, like, right in front of Mr. Freeze, and then it goes over to literally drops you off right outside the entrance for New Texas Giant. So we did Mr. Freeze, and then took the train over to New Texas Giant. Got in line. Line was pretty short. We got pretty much right on that ride. And first RMC, again, butter smooth. I don't know what it is. Maybe it's the new RMC trains, but the Gerstlauer trains make those transitions feel like butter. Excuse me, got some hiccups here.
Yeah.
Great ride, great ejector. There's some pretty good
Surprising
floater
ejector,
moments too. Yeah.
We rode it in the back twice, and I really love that ride. It is in contention for the best ride in the state with Iron Rattler for me. Unless Boardwalk Bullet were to blow me away if I have an opportunity to ride that again. But Titan was pretty good.
Titan
I actually
is not
prefer it in
talked
the
about
front.
enough.
I prefer it in the front. It's the only
That ride
hypercoaster.
is.
It has laterals. I love
It's
laterals.
got laterals and the positive G's you get on that thing. It is ridiculously intense.
Glossy smooth. Too.
Like glossy smooth. You got the little. It's a little clunky. You go between the like track pieces, but the no the positive G's, and there's 2 double helixes on the ride, and both of them are gray out moments, and you get like smushed into your seat. It feels like your spine is getting like actively compressed on this ride. Totally insane. All I had ever heard was the Giovanola hypers were boring and they didn't do anything, and then I got on this thing and my mind was blown.
And
because it had airtime, it had laterals, it had positives, and it had a full stop at the mid-course brake run.
It's not like it's probably for the best that full stop is there though.
Oh, imagine that second helix.
You would black out
If it didn't.
You would black
100%.
out.
100%.
Anyway, there was
Runaway
a little
Mountain
bit
as well.
There was a little bit of ejector, or floater, flow ejector.
Yeah,
a tiny
definitely
bit.
floater.
More than we thought, and I think it's better in the front. I mean, the drop's better in the back, but everything else front row all the way. You get way more positives. Runaway Mountain. Wow. Weird restraints. They go up against your chest, but the gators.
The gators.
The
There's these gators in the queue line with a motion sensor. And there's a little motion sensor, and you walk by, and they pop out of the pond, and they scare you. And Ryan and I both got jump scared. It was quite hilarious.
Yeah, and we rode pretty
some janky
intense
transitions.
It's pretty intense in
yeah.
there. At one point,
Yeah.
I think we were riding sideways for a solid 5 seconds straight. It was crazy.
There was like a moment of airtime after mid-course brake run that both me and Ryan just like, whoa!
That was in the top 5 of the park for me.
Mm-hmm. Shockwave too.
Backseat all the way.
Ridiculously intense. Backseat on Shockwave. Backseat or second to back row with the legroom in the front of the car. So good.
Ejector airtime.
So intense. The ejector airtime. It literally ejector. Like you barely have a lap bar there because it's one of those old Schwarzkopf louvers. It just has like the bar over your thighs, and that is it. So you literally are about to get ejected out of the train. Like it's ridiculous.
Yeah, the ejector and the drop is great. The 2 vertical loops after the drop, they're circles. You pull some insane positives going through those as well. So, very intense ride. Love it. It's underrated. I didn't get to ride Mindbender, but I imagine, as I've heard, that it probably is better. And the back car, at least for now, is still on there.
No, Shockwave is Shockwave craps all over Mindbender at Over Georgia, especially Mindbender in its current state. I will say Shockwave is in kind of a state of disrepair at Over Texas. It definitely looks a little weird. There's some spots where it was like just recently like re-welded, so there's like paint swatches on it, and like it's probably like on the list for a reno just like Mindbender got, but I really pray that ride stays as intense as it is, because that is ridiculous. Probably, gosh, they've got a really great lineup. I did not expect as good of a lineup as they had at Over Texas with Mr. Freeze, Titan, New Texas Giant, and Shockwave, and Aquaman I loved that ride.
I liked it.
Ryan.
I didn't hate it. I liked it.
Ryan was so focused on not getting wet, and he was cowering like this the entire time that he didn't notice the insane backwards ejector airtime over the launch hill.
It was fun though. I liked it. I didn't hate it.
It was really fun. Didn't get us super wet. It was. I mean, it was like 60 degrees, 65 degrees when we went, so we didn't really want to get super wet. But on a hot summer day, that ride is going to be popping off. Great new addition for Six Flags Over Texas. And
to my knowledge, it didn't break down a whole lot either. Like, once it got going, it ran all day.
Yeah, it did valley early in the morning, which was kind of funny. But besides that, you know.
But, I mean,
overall...
Something else that was pretty cool is... I wouldn't say it's as nice as Fiesta Texas, but it is clean. They keep it nice and clean. The staff's super friendly there, too. And something else that's kind of interesting. Almost all the coasters interact with, like, the roads or parking lots. It was cool. And you can also see Dallas Cowboys Stadium. I didn't realize that the Globe Life Park and Arlington Park, the two places where the Rangers used to play and now play, are right next to each other. I didn't know that. And it's all right by the park. So it was really cool to see that as a sports fan myself. Really cool trip. Overall, I mean, with all things considered, the adjustments we had to make, the only major credit we really took an L to was Boardwalk Bullet.
We lost Boardwalk Bullet. We missed that. We missed Great White and Journey to Atlantis at SeaWorld.
Boomerang.
We missed Boomerang at Fiesta Texas, which I'm actually really hyped about that. They're getting new trains, 2 new trains actually, so that they can always keep one running, and a new magnetic braking system, which is really, really exciting for Fiesta Texas. And then over Texas, we missed their mine train, which apparently is really, really good.
Yeah, we got mini mine train, though, which me and Justin were basically sitting on each other.
Mr. Beast Coaster, Mr. Beast Coaster, Mr. Beast Coaster, Mr. Beast Coaster. That's the coaster that Mr. Beast rode in his video. I don't know. It was fun to ride. So that is a piece of history right there.
Yeah. Overall, great trip. I had a lot of fun visiting new cities and driving through cities. Even just seeing Houston and Austin from driving through. Those cities are ginormous.
I was asleep through Austin, unfortunately. But
yeah,
Dallas, there's a couple bridges in Dallas that are really, really cool looking as well. We drove on one by accident because Ryan can't follow GPS directions to save his life.
I was on no sleep. I was pressed.
Okay, you cannot use that as an excuse because the entire time we were down there, I kept having to tell you, no, turn here, turn here, turn here.
Texas roads are whack, though. Like, they're worse
than
and
you don't use the audio function on your GPS.
I like the music.
You can still have music and Siri, whoever you have.
I like going where we're supposed to go the first time.
Yeah, we had some hiccups, but you know what? We had fun.
We had so much fun.
What was our Buc-ee's count? We drove by like 8 and we went to 6.
Oh, we didn't go to that many. Maybe like 3 or 4.
We went to 3 the first night, 1 the next night, and then you went in that one.
Did we go? We didn't go to 3 the first night. We went to 2.
Yeah, we went
There's no way we went to 3. There's no way. I don't believe you.
I vlogged all of it.
That's true. There's evidence.
So I have vlogs on Christian Coasters. They'll be coming out soon. I'm going to start editing them.
Check them out.
I got to edit a paid photo job first, but then once I get that, I will edit the rest, and it's going to be a lot of fun. Can't wait to look back at all the memories, and overall, with all the crap we went there, as I said on Instagram, we were duped, we were schmeckeldorfed, bamboozled. We prevailed, and we managed to...
It was a great trip. God really blessed us, especially through that storm. I was terrified. Ryan was probably terrified on the inside, but managed to stay composed. I did not.
I was not terrified. I was having
You were
a
not
blast.
terrified? You were not
so
terrified of being on 40 hours of no sleep with lightning storms all around us, driving through pouring rain
it was
at 95 miles an hour on the Texas highway?
It was the adrenaline I needed to stay awake. So
that's fair.
It was a lot of fun.
Yeah, I see that.
And I would do it all again if I had the chance.
No.
The only thing
God kept us safe.
The only thing I would say
that,
we learned from is, 1, even if it costs more and it's not going to be a whole day, keep your rental for an extra day. Keep it for the whole day you're returning it. If you're going to a park that day. Don't be stupid like us.
Nah, it worked out for us. What do you mean?
Only because of Marshall.
Even if Marshall wasn't there, we could have gotten a lift. We would have been fine.
Would have taken longer. It cost more.
Not as much as a rental car, though.
Well,
Next few
anyway,
day.
there's that. And then also, if you're going to go to Kima will Kima you, as Marshall would put it.
We got key mod. It's a verb.
Yeah, don't go out of your way just to ride Kima, because if it breaks down, you're going to be depressed like we were. Go find other things in the area to do. Go to Galveston, make your trip worth it. Like, find other things in Houston to do. That way, you have a plan B. We kind of just... We got Kima. That's all there is to say.
Mm-hmm.
Kima,
But no,
man. That's a new thing to say. Come on, man. It's Kima, man.
Despite everything,
That needs to be a
I'm super grateful for the time I got to spend with Ryan and getting to know him a little bit better, which was really, really awesome. And getting to spend time in a state that I love. I feel like it's second on states that I want to move to behind Tennessee for me. I would love to spend... Texas is probably one of my favorite states. Driving in Texas, I wish I could have actually been the one behind the wheel, but... Like, besides the really confusing, like, frontage roads, which all of the highways there have service roads that run alongside the highway. They're one-way roads on each side of the highway. Really, really weird. Never seen them before, but every single highway there. And they exits, like, you just exit onto that road instead of exiting, like, perpendicular. It's really, really weird.
And lanes will end without warning.
Yeah. But I love Texas. The parks that we went to were fantastic. I would definitely revisit Fiesta, Texas, like, over and over and over again. I love that park. That is in my top 5 parks overall. And would love to revisit SeaWorld San Antonio to get that Journey to Atlantis credit and Great White, and also re-ride Texas Stingray and
Bullet, we gotta try it again.
Bullet, and then we missed out on Iron Shark at Galveston as well because they were closed. So.
But that technically wasn't on the trip, though, so I don't count that.
No, it never was. But it could have been.
Yeah. Oh well. I mean, we did pretty well. I jumped from 164 to 189 credits, so can't complain there. Should hit 200 sometime within the next couple months.
Yeah.
And it was a fun trip.
It was a fantastic trip. And probably, like Ryan said, the cheapest he'll ever get to Texas.
All I gotta say, though, is if a representative of Whataburger is listening, Cincinnati, Ohio, please, I want Whataburger. Like, I will be your number 1 customer. I will be your first. And I've heard their shakes are really good. I can attest to it. I only had it once, and I got sweet tea, but yeah. Whataburgers.
They had a Dr. Pepper shake there that was really tempting.
Yeah, right? They had so much... They even had breakfast items. Like, Whataburger looks like your need for all places. And me and Justin did some research, and even though they don't put Bible verses on their, gear... That's not the right word. Packaging. They're a Christian company, too. So we love that. It was tons of fun.
Praise Jesus.
But yeah, if you learned anything from us, great. I hope you guys enjoyed listening to us ramble about our trip and our adventure. And like I said before, if you would like to see a little bit more of a first-person type of experience, you can go check out my vlogs once I get them edited and uploaded onto my YouTube channel, Christian Coasters. But we're going to pass this back to our host, Donnie, see if he's got any announcements for Ride of Your Life, and we'll get this thing all closed out.
All right, so that was a very interesting story you guys had, but I'm glad you all had a good, safe time down in Texas, and just glad you all were able to accomplish what you got to accomplish. So, good stuff there. But as far as announcements go, I believe this will be a 2-part episode if we're honest. But we're so thankful for all the support you all have given to Ride of Your Life Ministries. I can't believe we're officially launched as of this podcast, and it's just neat to see how Lord's brought us this far and where He's going to lead us in the days, weeks, months, years, and all that good stuff to come. Yeah, and we're excited to have Justin on the team as well, and we're excited to get his testimony episode out here soon, and for you all get to know him as well. But we have 2 more testimony interview episodes. We got Justin, and then we have one more, or maybe two more, but definitely one more here soon. And Ryan's excited for that one, but I wonder why.
I wonder why.
I wonder.
But we'll definitely have Miss Leah on here soon for her interview, and might get Kinsey on here. I don't know, but we're so thankful for our team and just how the Lord brought everybody together, and just it's awesome, and we're excited for what He's going to do through this ministry. But as far as plugging what's going on here at Ride of Your Life, be sure to check out rideofyourlifeshop.com for all your merch needs. We've got some Christian coaster stuff on there now, and some epic destination stuff, and we might even stick some of that coaster nerd stuff.
Which,
there.
by the way, forgot to mention this. Donnie did Justin's logo, which he just rebranded.
Shout out. I did just do a rebrand, and Donnie did my logo. I'm super, not even just the logo, just the whole stylization of the page. I'm super, super excited about it. Have not had the chance to really utilize it a whole lot, but because I've been on this Texas trip. But at that Christian Nerd on Instagram, expect some hopefully some pretty good photos. Ryan helped me kind of get to know my camera a little bit, so I got some pretty cool shots I'm excited to share.
Actually, I would say there were some moments where he outshot me because I was going for different stuff, and I was
you said it, not me.
He picked up on it pretty quick. He's going to have some good, sharp edits, and I'm excited to see how they turn out.
And then hopefully, I'm on Twitter as well, that Coaster Nerd, and then hopefully getting a YouTube started soon. Don't really have any concrete plans for that, but it is there. It does exist. We'll see what happens with that.
Cool. And I'm excited to see the photos you guys have taken from that trip. Even though it was kind of a nasty weather trip, I'm sure you guys got some really cool shots. Even if they were duck shots, I'm sure they looked really cool. But
yeah,
it's.
I indulged in the duck shots as well. I'm gonna be honest. I indulged myself.
Not near as much as I did, though.
Good stuff. But
I guess you could say I was kind of a quack.
You
I should have had the
quackhead.
soundboard up.
Yeah.
Ryan's a bit of a quackhead.
Yeah, I hit my beak. I hit my beak of photography down there. Wait a minute, though.
Yeah, you might ruffle some feathers with that
note.
one.
Wait.
On that note,
It's a bill. It's not a beak. It's a bill.
that's staying in the episode.
Yes, it is.
Anyways,
I
find
gotta-
us on.
I gotta say one more thing real quick. Shout out to my girlfriend Leah. Before the trip started, the night before, she got me this mug that said King of Dad Jokes with dad jokes all over it. So, good job, Leah. You gave it to the right person.
Got that one. Yeah, you got that one down pat for sure.
All right, let's get this.
She has no idea. But check us out at rideofyourlifeministries.com. All that good stuff. We'll evolve that over time. But we are hitting almost an hour and a half of this episode. But it's been a good. It's been a good one.
A lot of rambling, but
Hey, it's all good. Special episode. But with that being said, thank you all so much for listening to this episode, and we're excited for many more episodes to come. I believe Ryan and I came to an agreement that we're going to wrap up season 1 of the podcast in July. Just all the summer stuff, and both of our birthdays are in July, so we need a break. But we're excited to finish off the season well. We got, again, some interviews and some more fun content, and then season 2, we're going to knock it out of the park as well. But thank you all so much for listening, and we look forward to the next episode. And as we say here on the Ride of Your Life podcast, we don't have an outro. So thank you all. Have a good evening. Peace.
see ya.
See ya.